Okay, guys, on the virtual, hi. I've got some of your questions here in the chat. So if you have more questions, definitely throw them into the chat and I'll try to answer them as we go. But this is just you and me right now before the Q&A, the major Q&A with everyone else. And some of these I may need some clarification on because they're not, I think that maybe they were cut off or something. I'm not sure. But the one question that I'm seeing here is, can, I hope they gave you the list of stories that they're pulling out of the box to tell the groups. The stories that they're pulling out of the box, it's actually not stories. They're pulling out of the boxes in their groups. They're pulling out and reading certain scenarios like, I'm at my first shop, can I say yes to the first dress? Or I'm in my favorite dress, but should I go to other shops? Or blah, 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 blah. Those scenarios, what stories do you pull to that? Or I wanted sleeves, but now I love strapless. Those same ones that I demonstrated in the session are kind of the things they're pulling out to then try to practice doing stories on. That's what they were doing. Hopefully that was helpful. What to say to the I want to sleep on it bride. So in one stream, there is a whole video on this. It's like over an hour and a half of video on this. But when she says, I want to sleep on it, you're going to tell her this. I'll go ahead and give you the answer now. What you're going to say to her is this. Okay, so that is a great question because some brides, and I'm going to do what's called leaning in here, and that's where I state back to them what they're feeling better than they can state it even to me. So I would say, so some brides are thinking, you know what, I'm not sure, and I feel like this is a big decision, so if I sleep on it, then I'll know. Because normally, big decisions, that's something that you would want to do, so I totally get it. But this is, I want to make sure you know this. So because this is the most self-expressive garment anyone will ever purchase, it's about who you are rather than just choices in front of you. It's about what is connecting with who you are. So know this one, you're not going to change overnight. You aren't. It just is one of those things. And I will tell you, can a bride go home and sleep on it and call us back and say, yes, order the dress? Absolutely, she can. But I have to say to you, as I'm watching this, like your sister is here from California, your mom is here, the way that like you thought you wanted the ball gown and instead this fitted one, and there's been so many crazy, amazing moments that I just have loved watching that I feel like this is something out of a movie that I'm watching. Can you go sleep on it and call back and say, yes, that's the dress? Yes. Is it the same moment as what I'm watching here? Absolutely not. This is amazingly beautiful. And I love it. It's a moment that you just can't replicate, and not everybody gets this kind of a moment in their life, and I just love it. So it's stepping into the truth of what I'm watching here, that I'm seeing you. Like I'd love to see you and be like finishing out the whole story that I've just watched and say, yeah, this is the moment we all celebrate with you. So, I mean, yes, if you want to call, totally fine. Is it totally different than that? Absolutely it is. And this is a moment that's like, it's just like once in a lifetime moment. So I just have to throw that out there for you. So just had to say it. Does that make sense? You are sharing truths about her story. You have to see the story. You have to see the parts of the story, whether it's something on the dress that's similar to her, whether it's a song that's playing, whether it's her relatives that are around her, whether it is something that surprised her, that's the coolest part of every love story, or the surprise is. Whatever it is, you've got to take those truths and pull it in, and then let her know she's not crazy. And if it's the first shop, launch into talking about Patty. We all love Patty. If you haven't met Patty, you need to meet Patty. But you can tell her. So there's, I just heard this story from this woman in Virginia, and she got married when she had just turned 17. She never dated anybody else, and they've been married for 40 years, and they're just the cutest couple ever. Their story is so incredible. And if you were to ask her, do you wish you had dated other people, she would say no before you could even get the question out. It's the most beautiful and adorable thing, and it's so unique to her. That's what I think of when I see you in this dress. Like, your story is unlike any other brides. Other brides might be like, make sure you go to all these places. There is no framework for what love actually looks like. There is no this, this, and this, and this. It's different for every person. And that's what I love about it. So don't be afraid. If you love this dress, jump into it. Patty's never regretted it. You won't either, because it's just perfect. And I just had to say that. This is how you use stories to talk to that particular question. Got it? Okay, hit save. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. I'm looking for other questions here. Let me see if I can get to it. All questions. All right, I think those questions are there. Q&A. Okay. Anything else that I can answer for you while we're waiting for that? Okay. So some of you missed the sleep on it section. Yep, and they're right. Support is right on here. On the OneStream account, if you look under stylist training of your bride, the intermediate session number 6 goes over that, and you can hit that there. But then I just now was like kind of giving you a demonstration of it too. The more I demonstrate for you, I'm trying to just demonstrate for you so much so that you can hit save on it, and then practice it yourself and compare it to the two. One of the things we're seeing, and I said this at the session we were just at, make sure your point of belief is set correctly. Otherwise, any of this ends up being in an inauthentic space. You've got to know that what we are saying and doing is true to the unique story of every bride, that their story is unique, that it is valuable. All those things have to be true in your understanding. You have to believe those things. I said this at a session I spoke at in Las Vegas a while back, whereas if you believe the wrong things, you'll end up in the wrong place. So like if you follow the wrong GPS, you will end up in the wrong place. You believe that that's where you're supposed to go, you'll end up in the wrong place. You've got to make sure you're believing the right things, and then you end up in the right place. And that's what I want for you, is to be able to end up in the right place. So careful at your point of belief and what you tell yourself in your head and what you tell to other stylists in your shop, what you tell to your friends when they find out you're a bridal stylist and they're all like, oh, so do you have a lot of bridezillas? Change their understanding of what it is that you're doing by you first changing your own understanding of the value of who you are and what you do in the bride's journey. And hopefully that's helpful. And if you have any other questions, holler. I will jump on here and try to answer them as the Q&A goes. So if you may be practicing the paragraphs, I hope you are. But if you're not, hopefully this Q&A was helpful. Let's see what else is here. Where did you find such a great team for this live stream? Is that y'all? You didn't ask it? Well, you'll have to meet the team for this live stream because Meredith found you guys in Richmond, right? Yeah. Say that again? Yeah. So they're from Richmond, Virginia. So if you're in Virginia, or I don't know how far they travel, but RVAV is who they are, and they've been an amazing team to work with for this live stream. It was really important to us that we ramped up the quality of what our live stream experience was, because there are so many shops everywhere that some of them just can't jump over the pond and come here to Virginia. But I think they've done a fabulous job, and they've been super great to work with, so huge shout out to them. Can we get the list of stories they're pulling? Okay, got that. Also, what do I want to assume? Got that. What was the story about the bride 2 years before the wedding? Okay, Eveline's bridal. The bride that is shopping 2 years before the wedding. The first thing you do is get super excited because she is doing everything beautifully. She is coming. She thinks she's coming early. You know she can absolutely and should absolutely find her dress then, so that her story is amazing. So like. Excuse me. So when she comes in, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I love that. That your wedding's in 2 years. Oh, can I just hug you? Do you know how brides don't realize how long it takes for dresses to come in and how long alterations take and how the dress is like the beginning of all the other planning? But you get it. I just love you. I cannot wait to show you dresses. It's oh my goodness. I'm obsessed with you already. We're going to be best friends. So okay, let's talk. Talk to me about the. So what I'm doing is there's nothing bad about her going 2 years from now. I'm not going to assume she's not getting married, not going to buy something 2 years from now. And if it's for some reason like she's military and she's going to get married then, but she's going to be deployed for a year or whatever, she'll tell you then. There's some good reason why she is shopping 2 years out. Do not dismiss her and think that she's just going to waste your time. She's not. She's not. She is going to feel magic and experience magic when she puts dresses on, and then who knows what can happen after that. So always assume that about her, and that will help a lot. Let's see. And stories-wise, as it relates to 2 years out, I would say I love the stories of people who are like, "Oh, I was just gonna go to the corner coffee shop and get some coffee," and this person was standing in front of me, and I was like, "Hey," and then we started talking, and I was just in there to get coffee and ended up leaving with a date, and here we are, we're getting married. Totally not how I was expecting it to happen. But I wasn't ready for that to happen whatsoever, and it's so amazing. Or it's the person who they were boyfriend and girlfriend in 7th grade, and they liked each other then, and then they parted ways for a long time, and then they got back together. Who knew that that moment was when they actually met the love of their life? And it's the same. Like, love happens when you least expect it. So you could think, I'm coming in here just to get an idea because I'm getting married 2 years from now, but instead, that dress meets you on that day, totally changes everything, and that's the best story ever. So hit save. It's about the surprises, guys, being unique to the best part of each love story. All right? All righty. I think that's the questions that I can see. Some of the questions might have been answered already, and then disappear from the chat. I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, hope that was helpful. We're going to do a Q&A here in just a little bit, and you guys will be able to hear that too. So go grab a drink, practice the 2 paragraphs, and we'll see you here in a little bit.